buttoned up now. You know, she must have got a new one for Christmas. Greetings, family. How's everyone doing?
Greetings.
Everybody must be hungry. All right, that's good. That's a good thing, though. That's why 640 Cafe's doing this thing. All right, just to let everybody know the divine name is supreme being, I want to greet everyone with a civilized greeting, peace, shalom, hotep, whatever school of thought that you're from, whatever degree of knowledge that you have, however you greet one another. But it would be fitting, since we're here at 640 Cafe, to greet one another in peace. Would that be cool?
Right.
It's a beautiful thing. All right. Just to say a few words. I travel around the country, and as I've been traveling around the country over the last, I would say, and correct me if I'm wrong, the last 10 years, I could probably count. It'll probably take me both hands to count how many black bookstores that are still open. When's the last black bookstore you guys have been to? Can you name one?
Yeah. One in Greenbrier.
Greenbrier. Okay. So there's a few on the West Coast. There may be one or two. News bookstore still open. Brother Marcus and Morrow, Nubian bookstore. But as I travel around the country, bookstores are closing. So I'm getting an influx of information and calls and text messages and emails on where to find certain books. All right? Now, it's hard for a young black author to get a book out, to get the information out in 2020, simply because a lot of people are reading stuff online, but it's nothing like having a physical book in their hand. Am I right or wrong?
Right.
And I wanted to pass this information on. We have to begin to start building libraries.
Facts.
Yes.
Physical libraries to pass the information on. Now I know that may sound contradictory to what's going on as far as digitizing, having a digital library, but you have to have a digital library also. Books are coming out on ebooks and audio books, but you have to have the physical book. Right now at 640 Cafe, there should be book clubs. All right, there should be a night where we just come and it's quiet and we just read and we dialogue with one another. Am I right or wrong? I'm 60 years old. I came up at a time where there wasn't no computers.
No.
Oh yeah. August 1st, I turned 60. Yeah. Good guy. Right. Oh, that's the plant-based diet. That's thinking of fat, chunky freckles. Anyway, so the digital libraries we have to have, the physical libraries we have to have, but then also we have to create a book night, movie night, whatever you want to call it, to invite the elders that have actually are the walking libraries, the walking book. Now, if you ever get a chance to visit my home, all right, you're going to walk past 2,000 books before you do anything else. That's my wife's library and my library. All right, we have to be avid readers. All right, so I'm sure all of y'all have heard this saying that if you want to hide something from black people, put it in a book. You've heard this saying before, right?
Right.
Well, they actually in 2020 did the remix. If you want to hide something from black people, put it in a black book by a black author in a black book. We know black people are not going to read it. Well, we have to change that dynamic around and become avid readers. Are you following what I'm saying?
Right.
And the children now are not only listening, but they're watching. They're not doing what we say to do. They're doing what the instinct is leading them to do. If they're seeing us read, then they're going to read. They're going to ask the necessary questions, and we have to be able to provide the answer. Now listen to all of the conscious people that's in the room. If you don't have the answer, all right, humble yourself and point them in the right direction. If there's some things about the feminine aspect on how men need to handle women, and I don't know, I gotta ask Tassili, my wife Soleil, and a few other sisters I know in the community. All right, I can't get egotistical to the point where I think I know everything. Are you following what I'm saying?
Right.
What is the African proverb? I am because we are, therefore I am. Am I right or wrong?
That's right.
There's no big I in little you. How do we know who's going to assist in leading the people? You have to be among the people to lead the people. Am I right or wrong?
All right.
So those people that just want to reside on the internet, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, or whatever, and they never come among the people, then they're not part of the people. got to be able to keep my finger on the pulse of the people. Now, normally I'm going to be 2 more minutes, that's all. But I'm giving the DJ a cue back here so she can put some music behind me. Because it sounds better when we got something melodic under no it does. Wait a minute, when's the last time you made love without music? It just feels better when you got Roy Ayers or Ramsey Lewis or Donald Duck. Or Luther behind you. But anyway, in parting, I want to give the greetings for my wife Soleil. Right. And I'm sure 640 Cafe is going to be open to us. We want to get with Sharice and Tassili to put some program on here that's going to elevate the consciousness of our people. Is that cool with y'all?
Hey.
All right, so I'm going to leave y'all as I began in peace. Revolution is not an event, it's a process. Those of y'all that are waiting for my response to the Nick Cannon thing, be patient. Those of y'all that are waiting for my response in reference to this D.L. Hughley stuff, if I had a few minutes, I'll talk about it now, but we'll talk about it some other time. Well, the reason being,
I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened.
Oh, you don't know what happened?
No.
Y'all got 2 minutes?
You got as much time as you want.
Here we go.
All right, the people in the back, can we just bring it down a little?
Just lower your voices just a little bit.
Amen.
Thank you.
Just to let y'all know. So, Tassili can get it right in her spirit.
Yes.
I was invited by Mr. G. Do you know Mr. G? Mr. G is a filmmaker. And Mr. G was one of the ones that was heading and leading his energy in order to create a Dr. Sadie film. So Mr. G was the one pulling people together. Mr. G had connected with the family of Nipsey Hussle and some other people, and then it ended up in Nick Cannon's lap. Some people were opposed to Nick Cannon trying to put the documentary film together. I wasn't opposed to it. Any black man that's going to stand up and put the resource behind it to get it done, I'm in favor. So I agreed to be a part of the film. Now y'all already know, they don't call me to be in the films. Y'all already know that. So when I went to hook up with Nick Cannon and Wildin' Out, he asked me to sit in the audience and Wildin' Out, so I did. And then the next day, excuse me, family. I'll go.
Amen.
Family in the back.
Amen.
Can y'all tap them 2 sisters and tell them to bring it down?
Please lower your voices a little bit. Respect the mic. Professor Griff is delivering some very valuable information about how we communicate with each other. Right. One of our biggest challenges as a people is our ability to keep our word and to express ourselves clearly. So let's be in integrity and communicate well by listening. You can continue to talk, but please just talk at a lower voice. And if you can pause for a moment, you can get some real pearls. Because Professor Griff does not speak randomly. Y'all got to know that.
Right.
He don't speak randomly, and he doesn't often speak long. So we have him in a rare moment sharing. So please, let's honor that. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. I was under the impression that everyone knew, but you know, I shouldn't assume. All right, so when I went to do the Wildin' Out thing, I was in the audience. He acknowledged me, and that was a beautiful thing. Thank him. And then I did the little later on. I did my little segment for the Dr. Sadie documentary film because I'm lending my energy to it. And I asked him at the end of that, whatever else you need me to do, just call me. I gave him my phone number. We exchanged some pleasantries, and that was it. He caught back up with me and he says, listen, I want you to be in my class, in Nick Cannon's class. So I saw it online before. I said, yeah, I don't mind. When do you want to do it? He said, can you come back tomorrow? I said, yes. He said, bring some of your books. So I came back the next day, I brought him my books, and then we had set up to do Nick Cannon's class. Now please, family, do me a favor, keep in mind, I don't know Nick Cannon. He ain't my homie, we didn't grow up together. I've seen him on TV doing his thing. I seen him Mariah Carey, a beautiful thing, a couple, and all the other stuff, but I don't know him. I was just meeting him through Mr. G that weekend. So when we sat and talked, mind you, we did not discuss what we were the questions. We didn't even discuss a topic. He just wanted me to be in his class. So we set up the interview, we set up the lights, cameras, all that. So when we started the interview, some pleasantries was exchanged and that kind of thing, but Nick Cannon led the conversation. I didn't tell him what I wanted to talk about because I'm just in his class, respecting his space. You understand what I'm saying? So when he started the interview, the question, I guess, that was on the front of his mind about Professor Griff, because I have a history, was the question of black people being the original Hebrews. And when he asked me the question, I said, of course, we the original people. We the original everything. So when I laid that out and we started piecing it apart, putting the microscope, putting it under the microscope and pulling things apart, he went further into each one of the particular subjects, because keep in mind, family, this is Nick's class, not Griff's class. Now should y'all know, excuse me, y'all know if it was Griff's class, it would have been a whole different conversation. But I'm saying, that was Nick's class, and I was lending to what he had to give to his professors in order to get his degree from Howard University. The conversation wasn't planned, it was just, I came the next day and we had the conversation. We ended up talking about some things that some elders now kind of feel we shouldn't have been talking about on that particular platform. It happened the way it happened. Family, do me a favor, keep this in mind. I did that interview May of 2019. No, y'all didn't hear what I said.
A year ago.
When a year ago, a whole entire year went by, he held on to it, and in my mind and in my spirit, I'm like, why? It's just a conversation that two black men were having about black people being the original people. What's wrong with that? We was venerating our ancestors, we was pulling out books and all kind of stuff and information, so he held on to it for a year. And when he released it at the same time Minister Farrakhan did his thing in Chicago, I believe July 4th. So all of that came out in the same week. And then you have football players apologizing to Jews, basketball players. Remember that period a minute ago, about a month ago? Oh, yeah, we got to do something.
I don't watch TV.
Okay, a little bit of research. Everybody was apologizing. So I basically told the people that was calling to interview me about the whole Jewish involvement and whatever. I said, y'all out your rabbit ass mind. I ain't apologizing for the truth. You're crazy. Y'all got the wrong individual. I'm going to stand on the truth and stand on what the ancestors gave me to teach our people. So I stood my ground, and then I was under the impression that that's the same thing that Nick and everybody else was going to do. But sadly mistaken, Nick ended up apologizing. And when he apologized, he put my government name in the apology. So now I'm on blast. They got me in the scope. The black car with the tinted windows sitting at the window. I had to call the black militia and the FOI to come sit on the corner. So I'm like, okay, it's about to get really, really, really real. So by the time I saw you last week at the Return of the Gods, I was already amped and ready to go.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? Like I am now with the heat in the car. And I'm just saying to people, why do we have to live like that? But you know what it is? Tassili is right. This is a valuable lesson that all of us needs to learn. Everyone in this room, whether you know me or know me not, when you stand up for the truth, these are some of the things that may happen. Now listen, Tassili. No less than a half a mile from here, right through, what's the name of the park right down here on the right-hand side? I owned a home right in the back of that park. Burned to the ground while I was away. Everything in it, I sat across from it in my damn underwear. Everything in it was gone. I don't know if y'all know, but I told D.L. Hughley yesterday. I said, did you know, bro, that they burned my house down? I said, did you know that I was poisoned? Did you know that I was in LA about to do the lecture on my way to Las Vegas, and the people in Las Vegas found out that I was coming and they boycotted so much that the people shut the place down and wouldn't let me do the lecture. So these other strange people, I hope you're filming this right, because I want them to hear this. These other strange people, the Scientology people, gave my dude a call and says, listen, if he has no place to speak, he can speak at our place. So I don't know what the hell they thought they was expecting. Let me be nice, there's children in the room. So I spoke there, but on the way there, I'm in the back of the car, right? Taking safety precautions, we switched out cars and everything. I'm in the back of the car, we having a deep-rooted discussion about religion. All of a sudden, the back window of the car gets shot out. So we swerve in and we pull over, we find a state trooper, we pull pull up next to him because he already had someone pulled over. So what we did was, we didn't pull on this side, we pulled on this side of the state trooper just to ask him a question and to let him know what happened so he could write a report. Right? So I'm figuring out all these things, and now I'm jotting all of these things down. House burned down, now I'm getting shot at. You understand what I'm saying? And all these other kind of things. And I'm now putting two and two together, and I'm figuring out, I said to myself, you know something, it might be a conspiracy to take my life. So now I have to be extra cautious. So now listen, family, the statements that I have made in reference to black people and the secret relationship between blacks and Jews was 31 damn years ago. 31 years. So you mean to tell me we haven't learned anything from 1989 when they kicked me out of Public Enemy to now about who these people are? Do they not run and control the music industry? Yes! Ask anyone. The film industry, the book publishing industry, and I can go on and listen though. This is not Professor Griff with some super high science and knowledge. It's written in books. I just so happen to have read the books and did the cross-referencing and sat at the feet of the elders and revered the ancestors, and I got the knowledge and I passed it on. But the price for telling the truth, all right, it may cost some of us our lives. I am still standing, and this is what I tell these people. And if I gotta take it to the grave, I'll take it to the damn grave. But I am not apologizing for none of the truth that our ancestors spoke. And you should do the same thing. Imagine me walking around being bought and paid for like some of these entertainers. Y'all know what I'm talking about. As soon as they get a little heat coming their way, they want to back up and apologize and appease these people. No, we shouldn't do that. We have to stand on the truth. You know this character from The Breakfast Club, the corny one. Charlemagne the God. Got the nerve to call out our ancestor, Dr. Francis Cress Welsing.
He's a fraud.
I cannot wait to get my hand around his intellectually speaking. No, you know what he said? He was basically saying that this was nonsense that Nick Cannon was spewing. The fact that this whole idea of us being genetically superior, you understand what I'm saying? And white people being genetically inferior to black people. Because the language that Nick used in reference to saying, if they don't have this high concentration of melanin, everyone else on the planet is a little less than us. I wouldn't have phrased it that way. You understand what I'm saying? But I would have went back into Dr. Francis Cress Welsing's work and pulled it from there. And if you have to read it verbatim, then read it verbatim. But Charlemagne the God got a hold of that. And all of a sudden, now listen, D.L. Hughley did the same thing. They go on white people's platforms and talk about black men. That's a no-no, bro. That's an absolute no-no. Why would I go on a white platform and devalue Professor Griff or Dr. Francis Cress Welsing? So I called D.L. Hughley out on it. I said, why would you do that, bro? I'm sick and tired of seeing black men going on these platforms and we chopping one another down as though we don't have any value. You understand what I'm saying? Why don't you move out of the way, Charlemagne God and D.L. Hughley? Let me talk to the white boy myself. Have me on the show and let me talk to him. You see, they won't call Professor Griff because they know I'm top heavy and I'm coming with it. You understand what I'm saying? So, we're going to say to the Negroes and the Negresses and the Uncle Toms and the bootlicking Negroes, I'm going to stick with the word Negro. We're going to deal with the 10% element of our people and issue a warning to them. There's no place on the planet that you can hide from us. The time is right now. We're no longer going to sit back and watch you attack us and we don't say anything. Let me say this in closing. When they come, brothers and sisters, not if they come. What did I say? When they come, because they're coming. You know they're coming. They're about to force this vaccination thing on us, and they're going door to door. So when you see them come to Professor Griff's house and they get me at night, guess who they coming for in the morning? You. So why don't we stand up and stand together now? What is wrong with that? So when they come, and they come to my doorstep, and I don't need them dead at my feet, may the earth reject my body. We got to take a stand right now as we speak, or forget trying to educate and teach and protect the young babies. They're coming. They're coming with a vaccination program, this fake COVID-19 madness they put among the people. They're coming. And they're trying to get the chip in everyone. So blessed are those that struggle. Oppression is worse than the grave. It's better to live and die for a noble cause than to live and die a slave. Asante Sana, thank you all very much. Peace.
Para